Some fucking Dreamboat Gav decided to just self-immolate. And that's what I don't understand. Is like, what does he think he's running for primary? Is he running for like the 2008 Democratic primary, the fucking like 1996 Democratic primary? Like, you know, did he just like Rip Van Winkle it and suddenly he's here and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on? He doesn't know that, you know, everyone hates Israel.
Dude, it's because these guys literally don't sit in any rooms other than ones that are just completely captured by corporate interests and like foreign interests. You know what I mean? Like, it's just they do not encounter normal human beings ever. Like, they do not encounter a fucking voter.
You're saying, wait, hold on. You're telling me French Laundry Gav.
Yeah, it's just, that's what it is. One upside. Oh yeah, Ryan has been pissed off as well. But oh god, Matt Duss, is he still coming on stream after this? I don't fucking know. I don't even give a shit, to be honest. But what a lot of these guys don't understand is that like, what a lot of these guys don't understand is like the Republicans actually actively yelling at me and yelling at Abdul El Sayed is not going to work. It's going to have the negative. It's going to work in the exact opposite, where it negatively polarizes the base and it makes the base tune into the candidate that they're attacking because they see it as like a fucking a point of fear. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing that the Republicans are doing this. Of course, it's a little different when it's like centrist Democrats running along with these narratives as well. But yeah, Crystal Ball said Hassan derangement syndrome is out of control. Thankful that he and others made the choice to go to Cuba in an attempt to shine a light on the monstrous crimes of our government is committing in our names. People who are more concerned about a shirt or his hotel than the innocents we are murdering with our cruel blockade have completely lost their moral compass.
I mean, I think it's also just like you know, everybody wants to talk about this because it's just a lot easier than talking about the actual like cruel inhumanity of the policy. And besides, that's boring. You know, that's like, oh wait, people suffering. That's boring and gay. It's actually like, you know,
no, it's
just silly.
We
it's
were talking
sad.
about this last night. It's like or this morning.
Michael Moynihan once got paid to go interview people about things that went on in their lives and the reality in which they inhabited, and now he like yaps about shit on Twitter all day. Like I don't know what to say. Waco's.
Hassan Piker, very popular political streamer who is an anti-Semitic streak. That's an understatement. Will be speaking at major political rallies in Michigan with a Senate candidate and member of Congress.
Oh, well, Gabby Deutsch is a stupid streak, so.
Yeah, Gabby Deutsch, Jewish insiders coming hard, dude. Every single.
Sorry, you mean UAE? You mean UAE insider?
Okay, dude, I can't. I disavow this guy. He's Jewish, and that's why I'm disavowing him, because I'm an anti-Semite. Yeah, it's. You know, I've realized that if I have you or Felix next to me, I'm always. Like half of those clip moments are
they're because one of us is here. Well, that was like when what was it? And then there was the time when Ethan kept calling me Felix, or vice versa. I forget.
Yeah. This was the article. Opinion: Democrats are too cozy with Hassan Piker.
But again, it's like there's not like a. Like, all right, keep doing it. Like, I at this point, I say, like, you know, as the person not the subject of all this, I say, bring it the fuck on. Mainly because it's like, okay, like, dig in on being on the losing side of like a 90-10 issue.
Yeah.
Across both parties.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Like, you people are morons.
It's unbelievable. And they're doing it to someone who unironically spends a good deal of time. So much so that people are like, all right, bro, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, even Kyle Kalinske was like, dude, stop throat clearing every time you have to talk about Israel by explaining over and over again that you're not an anti-Semite, that you combat anti-Semitism. It's just like the person they're coming after is actively fucking advocating against anti-Semitism. It blows my fucking mind. What? What is this? What do you want? Gavin Newsom says he looks like Batman. Is that what you're saying?
Patrick Bateman.
Or Patrick Bateman? Okay, yeah, it's weird. He's being fucking weird. He's being a weirdo. These well-funded campaigns against you literally only have like 3 out of context quotes. Like all these freaks are banking on people just accepting what they say and not looking into it. Yeah, most people are not looking into it anyway, right? Most people are not looking into it. But the reality is most people don't care because most people, when they hear that, they go, oh, this guy's an anti-Semite. Oh, you guys say that about every single person that's anti-Israel. That's like, that is the attitude, right?
Also, like it's like really hard to take that allegation seriously when there are people who just like love going around and being like, oh, well, you're being very Jewish today or whatever. Like there are people out there who like do and say and conform to all of like the, you know, like the like they behave like anti-Semites. You know, they sound like they wouldn't have been out of picture in the 1920s. It's just that actually like the definition of anti-Semitism here is, as it has been, is like, no, it's that you dislike Israel and the Israeli government.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fucking annoying. My mom barely knows who I am. She does give a fuck about you. What does that even mean, dude? Yeah, it's like Joe Walsh. And this is how Democrats lose Middle America. Yeah, dude, Middle America, famously in tune with the needs of Israel.
Also, like fucking like Joe Walsh, famously in tune with anything. Like Tea Party politician turned never Trump has-been who like only exists on social media to comment on a political system that has completely passed him by. Like good luck.
Yeah,
cling to that relevancy raft.
Yeah. So
good luck.
I mean, this is the big initial story of the day. We'll start off here before we get to situation monitoring. Okay. Obviously, we're live. We're alive. We're blasting off. Let the people know. Epstein Fury Day 25. Iran, Israel energy strikes. Trump market manipulation. ICE agents at airports. No blockade. Republicans mad at me for hanging with Abdul al-Sayed. And yeah, and more. Lol, I just got here and I thought I accidentally clocked the VOD yesterday. Didn't expect 2 days of Noah. Yeah, no, he's here. Every stream is now Chad is just permanently posting every single tweet talking about Hassan that they can find. What an end to the cycle of this. Yeah, except this time it's in fucking Politico, dummy. It's not just like quote unquote drama.
Yeah, it is like kind of weird how this like went from like a few days ago. I was like saying to you over text, like just like it's not that big of it. Like you don't have to like deal with this. And at that time, I didn't think so because it was just like a bunch of people like being annoying on the internet. But because Twitter is the assignment editor for the mainstream media, because editors at all sorts of prestigious and credible publications have lost the capacity to think for themselves, they see a bunch of people chatting about this and they decide, well, you know what? We're going to take some of the people whom we pay, full salaries to, and we're going to dedicate resources to finding out why exactly people are so mad that Hassan Piker wore a shirt to Cuba.
Yeah. So it starts off with Third Way slamming me, or it starts off with Adam Wren talking about how I'm stumping for Dr. Abdul al-Sayed. It's a first. I didn't even realize, right? I didn't realize that was a first for me because I've leaned into candidates and worked alongside them with fairly regular frequency, from Zoran Mamdani to numerous others. And I guess I just have never really done like a campaign spot, right? So that was a first technically. Dr. Jihad on the campaign run. So anyone eager to campaign with Hassan Piker, Third Way's response is at best comfortable overlooking his anti-Semitic and anti-American extremism, and at worst endorsing it. Cowan continued, the guy who wrote the Wall Street Journal op-ed. After voters in critical battlegrounds like Michigan believed in 2024 that the Democrats were the more radical party embracing extreme bigots like Piker, who for starters is called religious Jews inbred, has said America deserved 9/11, is not only dangerous and wrong, but antithetical to the urgent work of winning over the middle and defeating Trumpism.
Now you get to the whopper.
Leaders of the center-left think tank in a recent Washington Post op-ed called Piker anti-American, anti-women, anti-Western, and anti-Semitic, and argued that Democrats have become too cozy with him. I've read that already on the article.
I think the center left think tank is doing a little bit of water carrying for them because I would love to know the number of registered Democrats in this country on a proportionate basis who would agree with like that assessment if presented with the information. I think that Third Way is like Their job is like third way exists so that it can be described by political reporters as center left, even though the only thing left facing that those people probably do is like turning out of their driveway.
Yeah. El Sayed, the spokesperson, declined to comment. Third way's lost the argument in the eyes of a lot of Democratic Party's base. Piker told Playbook, we can have a debate on how much influence they already had amongst the base in general, but they're losing their institutional relevance as well. Third Way has said they will spend $50 million to make sure the Democratic Party elects a combative centrist in 2028.
$50 million.
Yeah. All this
You know
does,
who could use $50
all
million?
this does is
Hey,
make
Hassan,
like what?
Hassan, you know who could use $50 million?
What, me?
No, people of Cuba.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
that's true.
Considering this has been their fucking attitude about you the last few days, why don't you take that $50 million and do something other than light it on fire in political advertisements and consultant fees and give it to people who need it? I thought that was the whole fucking line that those guys had.
I think they're trying to do to you what conservatives did to Fuentes in 2022 after the Trump dinner, but it obviously didn't work. Yeah, also, there's a major difference. I'm not a fucking anti-Semite. Okay? I'm not like a hate monger. So you can try to present me out of context or like show moments where I'm like I'm exaggerating or moments where I'm attempting a joke that you literally rob the context of and then make it seem like I'm sincerely saying certain things. But at the end of the day, there's a very big difference between someone like Nick Fuentes and someone like myself. I don't shelter you from my perspective. I tell you what my views are. Okay? I tell you what my fucking views are. All the goddamn time. I'm an anti-Zionist. 400 like tweets. Surely they have clout with the Dems. It doesn't matter. These things add up. It shows up in people's fucking timelines. That's the reason why the New York Times wrote an entire article. That's the reason why the New York Times wrote an entire article about the flotilla. And I couldn't believe it that the article was actually just about, the shirt I was wearing and shit. It was fucking ridiculous. Do you understand? Like, because as Noah also was pointing out, as someone who's, been around the block and, worked at Vice and whatnot, he knows how these stories are written. Like, people who choose which direction they want to take with these articles are still looking at Twitter, and it's a right-wing shithole. And that actually does frame their perspective a little bit.
And I would add also that, like, it's really difficult when we now have, like, when we have this, like, contemporary flavor of right-wing, Twitter shithole, whatever, and it collides with these specific issues on foreign policy, on the places where American media, the American political establishment, and the American people are, as categories, all pretty ignorant. And the capacity for nuance, the capacity to introduce a perspective that exists outside of the, previously defined parameters of discourse or whatever, it's something that they naturally reject. And so it's a lot easier. It is simpler to have a conversation about your t-shirt than to actually weigh the evidence of the question of what is the impact of American policy on these people, and does that suggest something about what the political incentives might be for people in this country to do about it? And instead it becomes a referendum on the behavior of you, or, the fucking just a complete like a referendum on the behavior of the Cuban government, even though it's our policy that's the thing that you're trying to bring attention to in the first place.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do take it one step further. Like, I think that as far as like governments go, like the Cuban government is nowhere near as repressive as like even Iran. And you know what my perspective is on Iran, especially with like our much more violent actions now.
I mean, but this is the comparison.
It's not even a thing.
Cuba's been at war for 60 years. They've been at war for 60 years.
They've been at war for 60 years, and even in spite of that, like their repression is like not even their repression. Like the way that they dealt with the protests that took place. That's like a big point, right? It was like a first in Cuban history since the Cuban Revolution, where like a lot of people organized against the government and like protest the government, the SOS Cuba stuff, and that. Like, I was talking to journalists, like Cuban journalists that got arrested, and they were like, yeah, well, we've been around the fucking world, and in our coverage, like, even the apprehensions that took place were marginal in comparison to, like, what the fucking American police does in terms of, like, dealing with... Like, people don't realize that our police force is infinitely more ruthless than a lot of these other countries, right? That's why it's so strange when they were like, oh, you got detained in China. You got arrested in China. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been shot at like with rubber bullets by my own fucking police that I pay the salary of. What are you fucking talking about?
Also, like, I mean, one piece of it that drives me especially nuts on this level is that it's like, I don't know, like, has anybody been, I don't know about you, but I've been watching some of the news these last few months. And before the president of the United States unilaterally decided to, like, try and set off World War III around the Persian Gulf, there was this really big story about unaccountable, bloated law enforcement agencies in the United States running around killing people, randomly detaining them like masked men, like a neo Gestapo. I'm sorry, I just don't have like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't mean to be like so totally whataboutish here, but it is like. There's a degree. It's a chauvinism. It's a chauvinism.
We have no leg to stand on. We have no room here to be like, wow, I can't believe it. It's like other countries are so repressive. And then what? Like what? That we have to fucking. And then what? That we have to starve them to like solve this problem? Like it's fucking. All of it is ridiculous. I'm not entertaining it at all. The only difference is Cuba has less American-style free political speech, which sure is a big difference, but it's not like Cuba is a tyrannical murder state that
Correct. They do not